Let's jump to the story from the Post Millennial. Illinois Democrat Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton releases Trump Senate campaign video vowing to abolish ICE. Okay.
Fuck Trump. Vote Juliana.
Fuck Trump. Vote Juliana.
Fuck Trump. Vote Juliana.
They said it, not me. I'm Juliana Stratton, and I'm proud to have lived my whole life on the south side of Chicago. I'm not scared of a wannabe dictator. I'm running for Senate to stand up to Donald Trump. I'll abolish ICE and hold Trump accountable for the crimes he's committed. Just like they said, fuck
Trump.
Fuck Trump.
Fuck Trump.
Vote Juliana.
That's why I approve this message.
And
Fuck
so
Trump.
let me just stress this. J.B. Pritzker, in this video, the degradation of politics, we are so far gone. And I'm going to say this to all these Democrats. Trump didn't start it. Trump was a symptom of it, okay? And where we are now, y'all are just rolling around in it like pigs in, well, since we're already swearing, pigs in shit. Mm-hmm. So this breaks my heart. We have much bigger news than anything we've talked about today. Much bigger news. Much bigger news. We talked about Epstein, Prince Andrew, former, arrested. Trump saying aliens are real. There's a bigger story here. Chicago Bears are leaving Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
And this is quite possibly the worst thing that ever could happen anywhere in all of human history. And it is because of these pieces of trash Democrats who have lived on the south side of Chicago our whole lives. So now we have two options for the Chicago Bears. They can go to Arlington Heights, which is, okay, fun, still Illinois, but it's a northwest suburb, or Indiana. Okay, we can talk about that in a bit. I just had to bring it up because I'm not even a big football guy. And I see this woman being like, I have lived here, F ICE, I'll abolish, them, and Trump is bad. And I'm like, you are why everything is falling apart in our state. And people like me and my friends fled because y'all burned it to the ground with 100 years of Democrat supermajority rule and your crackpot gerrymandered garbage districts. And now the city is turning to garbage. And it's miserable. They won't fix it. I see this lady. You know what she may as well have just said? I put on my They Live glasses and she goes, buzzwords. Buzzwords that you've heard, so you think I'm cool. And like you, vote for me. Here's another Democrat. He agrees. That's all I heard.
It's pretty comical. The fact that she's like,
in the worst ways.
I'm gonna stand up to Trump. It's like, you're supposed to be, you're campaigning for the upper house, right? The Senate is supposed to be the one where people kind of aren't really clowns. Like they move slowly, they've got longer terms. It's fine when you hear people in the House doing ridiculous things. There's 435 of them. They do stuff to get attention because there's 435 of them. The upper house is supposed to be the one that or where the people that have a little more poise, a little more dignity and stuff. And this is her campaign. This is
Do you remember
a clown show.
A couple of years ago, there was a story that came out that was basically saying that there was evidence to suggest that people who curse more are smarter. And did you notice a lot of stupid Democrats start cursing way more all of a sudden as soon as that study came out?
I didn't notice that it was correlated with that.
It'd be fun if she competes with Jasmine Crockett for who can be the sassiest in Congress.
And, yeah,
It's a fun direction that we're headed in, a complete freak show. But yeah, I mean, this really does speak to the degradation of politics. There's no campaign promise, there's nothing. It's just F that other guy. It's pretty absurd that anyone would rally behind that.
And a lot of times the swearing has to do with when they feel threatened. So I talk a lot about on our show about like there's something about the average celebrity when ICE comes up, they have to say F ICE and they say it with their whole chest and they say the same thing about AI. They say F AI because they're so scared of what it's going to do to their industry that all they can muster is to say a swear word alongside it because they don't have an actual coherent argument against it. And any coherent argument is going to fall in the face because it's not going to work. The technology is already evolving. In this case, ICE is already doing what it's doing. They're not able to stop it, and so the only thing that they can muster is to swear.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sad.
Yeah.
It's I mean, I assume that there is a portion of the electorate that is going to appeal to, the Democrats that really hate Trump, of course, and stuff. But like, she's not just running in Chicago. She's running to represent Illinois. Yeah. And that's a very like that ad is very, very narrow. It's targeted at a very narrow group of people.
I love the Chicago weather and the architecture and parks and all these things. growing up there, like I'm talking to my wife about where do we really want to settle down? Like where would we truly want to live? We're in West Virginia now, and we do love it because it's not too dissimilar weather-wise. But of course, when we think about it, we grew up in Chicago. We love the summers where you can go swimming and, go out and do outdoor activities. We love the winter where you can play in the snow and there's snow activities. Not great skiing or anything like that. The problem is everything in this spattering from Wisconsin to Minneapolis to Chicago is deeply corrupt, evil human waste running the machine. And Brett, from our cousins over there in Minnesota, knows exactly what I'm talking about, how corrupt and garbage everything is. And it pisses me off because I'd love to live there.
I don't want to move back.
Right.
Me and my wife have talked about moving back to Michigan, where she's from, which is still just like we were there. Remember over the winter we had to go to a funeral. It was like -9, and I'm like, no, I'm good.
What? I love it.
No.
Sign me up.
I can get back into it if I'm there for a period of time, but I like when here it gets down to like 20. You're getting into the 20s. I'm fine with that.
I'm down for Alaska, man. We went to when we went to Anchorage. Amazing. What a beautiful place.
Everything's so much more difficult in the wintertime. Doing anything outdoors is way more difficult. It's just
really
skating's actually better in the winter.
It gets so humid and hot. It's like,
but isn't there substantially less
you have to
crime the
shovel
colder
it.
it gets?
Well, that's why
people
people
don't wanna
were
go
saying
out.
that the ice riots were ironic. The ice riots were going to be less substantial because it was winter and they weren't all out in the summer.
Yeah. Well, you can still turn up the political temperature even when it's cold outside.
I got to say, Chicago is one of my favorite cities to visit. I love it. Great American city. I don't follow football. The fact that the Bears are leaving Chicago makes me sad.
Yeah.
That's like such an American thing. The Bears are in
The
Chicago.
Bears.
The Bears. Like,
Yep. Well, it's people like this lady who have thrown a noose around the neck of our cultures and our tradition and are just strangling it to death.
And
you know what they should do? They should start a new town called The Bears and let all the super fans
Bears?
move. Yes.
Bears.
Yeah. And just let them all move there and start a new city that's awesome.
Let's try this one out. You've got the Chicago Bears, but let's just hear it. The Hammond Bears.
It doesn't work.
Sounds like teddy bears. It sounds like a German stuffed animal company.
No, it sounds like the
AAA
gummy
team.
bears. It sounds like the Haribo gummy bear.
Hey, can I copyright or trademark Hammond Bears right now before it happens?
You should definitely get Hammond
Own the phrase.
.com.
They have to change it to the Indiana Bears.
Have they? So they are leaving Chicago. The Bears are leaving Chicago. Who's getting blamed for this? Like, are they blaming the politicians? Because you know what they're going to do. They're going to say that the billionaires aren't paying enough in taxes to keep the football team in Chicago.
They should absolutely go to Gary. It's
Gary,
right
yeah.
there. The Gary Bears.
Come at your own
Gary
risk.
Isn't Gary just like another disaster? Like
Yes.
Chicago is a disaster.
So I'm just gonna
They pay you to go to the game.
Right.
And
I just want to point this out. HammondBears.com was parked by GoDaddy, and so is Indiana Bears.
Oh, interesting.
So I wonder if that's an indication of something. And guess what? Arlington Heights Bears? Nope.
No.
It's for sale. Anybody listening to the show right now, you can go and buy ArlingtonHeightsBears.com. Something tells me that will not be the name they use.
And then make it the fruitiest website of all time. Make it an exclusive place to meet other people of your specific orientation.
Or just sell a bunch of gummy bears.
Yeah.
Their colors have to
Now,
be
is this just a negotiation tactic to try and get the city to buy them a new stadium type deal?
No,
or-
the issue is the issue is not buying the stadium. It's that the property taxes are too high. So it's going to cost them around $250 million a year in property taxes, and they want the city to give them an exemption. And the city is a bunch of communists who won't do it. So Indiana passed a bill saying, like, "No, you're good. We'll take you."
I think
I think they should leave. I think they should absolutely leave.
I think everybody should leave where they're being overcharged. I mean, all of the people in New York did this thing with Mom Donnie where he's trying to extort Albany into paying a whole bunch more money to the city for his promised social programs. And what he's saying, which, everybody already heard already, but like what he's saying is if you don't do it, I'm going to raise property taxes almost 10%. And the thing is, if you look at the way the property taxes are calculated in New York City, there's 4 tiers. There's private homes, like 1, 2, 3 family homes. Then there's apartment buildings. Then there's utilities, and then there's commercial, right? Like hotels and office buildings. Private homeowners are already paying over 19% in property taxes, 19% of the assessed value of their home and property. So he's talking about raising property taxes on New York City homeowners by another 10%. That brings them to like almost 30% of their property taxes. People are going to have to sell their homes and able to afford the property taxes. And basically his goal to eliminate private property in the city will be much faster on the way anyway, because their idea, his whole administration's idea, is to create not just a city full of renters, but a nation full of renters. And they want them paying their rent to the government. Yeah. And if you look at it, Mamdani's had this whole thing where he was like, oh, we're going to let tenants come in and complain about their housing and complain about their landlords, but they're not allowed to complain publicly. You know who's not going to be able to complain publicly in those hearings? Residents of the New York City Housing Authority. That's public housing. That's projects. So if you live in the projects and you don't like your housing, you can't go to this like rental thing and start complaining about how the city is a crap landlord.
That's perfect.
And the city is the biggest landlord. The city is the biggest landlord in the city. And their housing stinks. And all the time during the campaign, he was like, oh, we'll change light bulbs in the city housing, you know, because the light bulbs are out. And he didn't even mention the elevators, which like are open shafts half the time. He didn't even mention that. And then he's like, but, you know, for you private property owners, we're going to raise your taxes and drive you right out. And I think all those private homeowners should get the hell out of that city.
How many people that voted for Mamdani do you think are now regretting their vote? And that's like, this is like 3 months in.
I think a lot of them, because, you know, he's talking, and if you look at what he wants to spend his money on, meanwhile, Albany just gave him another $1.5 billion like 5 days ago. If you look at what he wants to spend the money on, it's entirely social programs. Mm-hmm. It's entirely social programs.
I think.
And it's like, that's great and stuff, but you have to, you know, quality of life is what matters in the city.
I think all of them, because the way our political system works is who can lie to the best during the campaigning process. And none of them can pull through on what they're saying. The thing that I'm shocked people are upset about is that I guess part of his campaign promises was that New York City could keep their homeless. And I can't believe that that's the pitch that they're mad at him about. I mean, that he promised not to clear them out of the parks, and now because they're freezing to death, he realized he has to, and they're upset at him of, you broke your promise to us of letting these people stay in the parks.
Yeah, because, you know, it's better to let them die.
He went around in his New York City monogram bomber jacket, handing out blankets to these homeless people who then died. They died.
I'm sorry that's funny. It's just socialism right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. The monogram, they were red and they were like compliments of Mamdani or something.
Right. But the government couldn't figure out they needed a sleeping bag.
They weren't very good.
They weren't electric blankets.
No.
They were just your regular.
Well, yeah, if you're homeless, where are you going to plug it in?
Where are you going to plug it in? What are you kidding? New York City, like open up one of the lamp posts and just plug stuff in there. You can plug stuff in all over the place.
Really?
There's plugs.
I didn't know that.
You know how they have those kiosks? I don't know if they still do, like with the internet.
Homeless guys were
where
masturbating.
You can charge your
It's
phone
true.
and stuff.
Yeah. They were like these digital kiosks they set up where you could just use the internet whenever you wanted, and then homeless guys were using it to, you know what I'm saying? They were gooning.
Well, if human beings create a thing, it's going to be used for porn.
Yeah.
Essentially, yeah.
You know, I got to be honest. If they set up a digital internet kiosk for free use of looking things up, anything you wanted, literally anything, and it was at a ski resort, you would not have a gooning problem.
Not at a
ski resort.
But at a ski resort.
Now, why is
leave
that?
Thousands of dollars of equipment just hanging around outside. Well, because skiers don't steal.
Why?
Because they don't, Tim.
Because they have money.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.